Boris Johnson, welcome along.
Hello,
welcome to the Late Show Live. I'm sure you're an avid viewer by now. We've been on air for many weeks.
Your name goes for you, of course.
Many topics to get stuck into, not least Gaza, of course. Your thoughts, please, on the situation in Gaza. Does President Trump deserve a Nobel Peace Prize?
Well, I think that you've got to be realistic and accept that this would simply not have happened had it not been for the work of President using his own office, the power of his office, and the force of his own personality. And look, both sides unquestionably came under huge pressure from America. He put the hard word on Netanyahu. It's difficult for Netanyahu, this whole thing. He's got some people in his coalition, hard-line right-wingers, nationalist guys who haven't signed up to it, who could bring down his coalition. Netanyahu's, political future not necessarily clear once this thing goes through, and then Hamas. Difficult for them. They're being asked to give away their one piece of leverage with Israel, and namely the hostages. And it's disgusting that they've had them for so long. It's absolutely morally obnoxious. But that's it. They have, and they're losing that. They're being asked to give up their weapons. They're going to have no say in the governance of Gaza. A lot of I think a lot of Hamas people will look at this and think it's a defeat, and it is. So he's pushed. So what I'm trying to say is Trump, by the sheer kind of bouncy castle, explosive force of his personality, has pushed these people into doing things that they might not have done. Certainly, I don't think would have done without his agency, right? Without his effort. And so, but when it comes to the Nobel Prize,
he was snubbed, of course, today. He was snubbed, but
Machado is a good choice.
But she has today said this is in dedication to President Trump. I'm not sure if you saw that, but
I missed that.
She's come out and said, "This is for you, President Trump. Thank you for bringing peace to the world." So,
well, that's a very, very good thing for her to say, and he does deserve. I mean, he's going to absolutely stick in the craw of the lefties around the world.
Well,
I haven't watched any of that. I mean, because we're all here in Washington, I haven't been able to observe whether there've been sort of, Jeremy Bowen's been breakdancing down, and whether the BBC's been,
Oh, trust me, Trump derangement syndrome.
It's a champagne all round. It's a champagne all round in the editorial conferences of the Guardian as the hostages are being released. Are they thrilled that Donald Trump is sort of,
Of course not.
I don't know.
Trump derangement syndrome is alive and kicking both sides of the pond. Talking of lefties, did Keir Starmer help or hinder the Gaza situation?
Look, I honestly, you can delete this because it's late night, but it's a fart in the gale, right? This recognition.
Why did he bother? Why did he wait until President Trump left?
Why did he?
Starmer waited for President Trump to leave before recognising Palestine as a state.
I don't know. I mean, it's not what I would have done, and the reason is that you should do. What is it? How can you possibly recognise Palestine as a state now? I mean, it doesn't really make sense under the 1933 Convention on the Recognition of our country follows. And look at Palestine. It's not clear who its government is. It's shared. You've got the Palestinian Authority. You've got Hamas. They don't particularly care for each other. They run different bits. One of them is a psychopathic Islamofascist terrorist death cult, and the others pretty incompetent. It's not brilliant. The boundaries are not clear. The governance is not clear. It doesn't qualify.
And by the way,
So what I'm saying is, look, ultimately. Yes, and actually it's there in Donald Trump's 20-point plan. Ultimately, yes, a part of this process has got to be also to try to recognise the legitimate desire of Palestinian people to try to run their own lives, okay?
Yeah.
That's fair enough. So to make progress towards that is right. But prematurely recognising a state when it doesn't really exist makes no sense.
Yeah, and also,
in my view, it did nothing. It was construed by our friends in Israel as rewarding Hamas for terror. It was a mistake.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you
a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
And Hamas, of course, in the last 24 hours, they have said that, regardless of Hamas being a terrorist nutcase death cult, they've said they want Tony Blair to have nothing to do with post-war Gaza. So I don't know what it says about Tony Blair. But can we move on to domestic matters?
I mean, to be fair to Blair, and I don't know why we would be, but to be fair to Tony, actually, I think that when you look at that agreement the work that's gone on between all the sides, between the Qataris and Hamas and Egypt, and everybody's been involved in this thing, and I think that Blair has been useful.
Okay.
To be fair, and it's look, this is. I mean, I know that people find this difficult, and and because Donald Trump has unquestionably helped to deliver this, there isn't quite the jubilation you'd expect on the left. But for most serious, sensible people, this is a good moment.
Well, can you imagine if it was Biden or Obama?
Of course. No, you're making. I'm sure everybody's been saying this all day, but that's absolutely right. And it's a good moment, and it's not the end of the story. I mean, there's a lot of difficult things still to clear up, right?
Sure.
I mean, two of those things that I've already mentioned: Hamas disarming, Hamas understanding that it's not going to be part of the governments of Gaza. Israel understanding that this is the beginning of a conversation about Palestinians.
Could be the beginning of the end, hopefully.
So it could be the beginning of the end. It really could be, and that's all. I mean, we've had 2 years of everybody. It's been really debilitating.
Even across the West. Even across the West, the protests on the streets, the Islamism on the streets. I was in New York a couple of nights ago. People holding Hamas flags on the street.
Hopefully that will now die down.
Okay, let me take you back to the UK. Tory conference has just finished.
I'm sorry, I've been here, but we've been here.
Yes.
I've been here. So
did you see much of Kemi?
I've got to.
No,
I heard good things about it. I heard very, very good things about it.
The future of the Tory party lies where, Boris? Kemi, Robert Jenrick, somebody else?
With Kemi, and honestly, I think. Look, I heard very good things about it. I saw the clip about stamp duty, which is completely the right thing to do.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes. Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. And dead right. And thinking about, and also, do you know what I like about it? The whole mood of our party conference, and I was actually invited, but sadly I couldn't go.
Was that a sign of something?
Yeah, it was very, very promising. But I think what I liked about it was...
You would have helped to boost with the polls and the media, the ratings. No. You would have given them some oomph, Boris.
No. But what I like about it is it's got a bit of balls about it, because what they're doing is they're saying, we're not just... because the strategy has been very much in the last 10, 15 years, keep focusing on the baby boom voters, keep never mind young people, they never vote Tory. Never mind young people, they never vote Tory. Well, that's over for us as a Tory party. We've got to be going for those people. And
Yeah.
you're never going to get...
Reformer.
Yeah, and by the way, so if you look at a lot of the Trump voters, it's very interesting.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk credited with that.
This is absolutely true. I gave a speech 2 days ago in Virginia, and I said, it was an audience of about 10,000 students, and I said something broadly favourable about Donald Trump, and they cheered.
Yeah, times are changing.
Stone the crows.
Yeah, times are changing.
So, and so I think Kemi, back to your point, Kemi is completely right to start to think about rebuilding for the future. Young people have got every incentive to vote Conservative. If you want a safer neighbourhood, if you want better job opportunities, if you want your country to be going places, if you want to be able to get your foot on the property ladder, if you want to be able to own your own home, vote Conservative.
I agree, but
so you know, that is where she needs to go.
The only problem is, Boris, and to use your turn of phrase, and we can beat this out because it's pre-recorded, some would argue you had a massive majority in 2019. I don't want to go over the Boris wave again, it's been done, but of course there's net zero as well, which many people aren't happy with now. You've got mass migration, you've got quantitative easing from COVID.
When I left office, right, we were barely behind Labour at all. And we were in the mid-30s in the polls, right? Okay.
But since then, a lot's happened.
But not
many prime ministers.
But you know my argument on this.
Yeah.
I think we goofed. I think we should have stuck with the.
Well, I was going to say, to use your language, the Tories, maybe not you personally, the Tories have spaffed it up the wall, whatever sort of trust they had with the public. So I guess that is the big challenge now for the Conservative Party.
But I think I would argue that one of the biggest, the single biggest mistake was we had the biggest majority for, I don't know, 40 years, or the biggest share of the vote, certainly 44% of the vote. 44% of the vote. We're now on, less than 20% as far as I can make out sometimes. We were on 44% of the vote. We had a huge coalition. We had every reason to stick with it, and people voted for it.
Yeah.
And so I think, I think the goof was in 2022, in the sort of post-COVID panic and recrimination, they chucked me overboard, and I think it was a colossal goof. And we would not have lost in 2024. We would not have lost.
Well, that brings me on to my next question. Talking about China, the situation with Keir Starmer and the pressure he's under to do with this whole China story and the case that's collapsed. You were brought down arguably by some crusty M&S sandwiches in Downing Street, and then Hansi Chris Pincher finished you off. To use a turn of phrase, and then you were gone. How has Keir Starmer? I mean, he's like Teflon. He's like kind of like Keith Vaz, who nothing can touch him. How does he survive still? Should he resign?
The deranged system we have in the Tory party.
But you were brought down by sandwiches.
But we have a system where it takes 15% of your backbenchers to write some letters, and then it all goes. That's the problem we have with it. But look, there's no point crying over spilt milk. I think Kemi is doing the right thing. She's got, her speech was excellent.
Have you spoken to her? Have you given her advice?
I'm in touch with her. Yeah.
Are you in touch with Robert Jenrick?
Intermittently. I'm in touch with lots of time. I'm a proud Conservative.